Hello everyone, my name is Ruth Cullen and I will be presenting on potential climate funding opportunities for Kildare County Council and Kildare community groups for community projects. This presentation is based on a report that I've put together with the climate sector of the Kildare County Council with the hopes it can act as a guide for community groups who wish to find financial aid sources and ideas for climate focused innovation projects. When it comes to climate finance, climate has slowly but surely risen on the government agenda as it continuously has shown to be fundamental in the costs of both natural and financial resources. At a national level, the Irish government has mandated for the lowering of carbon emissions along with EU policy, and because of this have dedicated huge amounts of money towards climate projects and environmental protection. The four Project Ireland 2040 funds comprise of the Climate Action Fund, the Disruptive Technologies Innovation Fund, the Urban Regeneration and Development Fund, and the Rural Regeneration and Development Fund. Together, these will provide about €4 billion in funding over the next 10 years of the Project Ireland 2040 Fund. This massively growing source of financial support could be an extreme boost for areas such as Kildare, which already has existing infrastructure which could be upgraded and improved to a more climate focused suitability, and Kildare also has large areas of biodiversity and natural areas that could be utilised for public recreation, sports and leisure and such activities. Kildare is also an area of high rates of communities both in and out, and this could give way for a huge amount of improvement in transport networks and many other sectors that could feed into the climate agenda. The Irish government is hoping to reduce carbon emissions by 30% over the next decade and has encouraged community involvement through community outreach programs and funding to support smaller businesses and projects to help reach these goals. So when it comes to the report, the aim of the report is to bridge the gap between community groups and the accessibility to funding. A fundamental part of this report is the list of funding opportunities, with the hopes that it could act as a basic guide for anyone who wishes to apply for project funding. The report also provides a section on case studies of previously funded projects, and this could hopefully give ideas towards climate innovation and ideas towards projects that could be also carried out in a Kildare context. These projects are not solely climate focused and will hopefully show that there are crossover opportunities, so to speak, in which multiple sectors can mutually benefit, not just the climate protection sector. The report finally addresses the challenges faced by community groups and looks at how other jurisdictions have treated the climate mandate and have addressed these challenges themselves. So the first part is funding sources, and this section is split into four different levels: local, national, EU, and then potential sources. The EU is a smaller section as it usually involves multiple member states getting involved in projects, and so it'll be more difficult to manage. And potential sources includes funds which may not have been looked into or which may be upcoming. These funding sources regarding local and national can range from under €1,000 in financial support up to hundreds of thousands of euro, showing the wide range of opportunities available and the variety of projects that could be funded. Projects that have been funded can range from the installation of benches in existing trailways to encourage recreational use, to setting up digital marketing for blueways and greenways, some of which have been set up in Kildare, up to installing entirely new light fittings and heat pumps through community-wide funding. So there's a vast amount of opportunity that could be taken into use for Kildare groups. The section on case studies. So the report contains 9 case studies of projects that have all been carried out in Ireland, primarily in Dublin, due to Kildare's close proximity and similar level of infrastructure and large amounts of communities and commuter and transport networks. These projects look into building new infrastructure, improving amenities in other projects, retrofitting and upgrading facilities to be more energy efficient. Some of the projects discussed in the report also show the potential for building networks between towns, between natural recreational areas, and into other counties. The transport sector, for example, has high priority in funding, especially climate conscious options. Just Transitioning has looked at sustainable transport, and with Kildare having tens of thousands of people commuting in and out, as well as its close proximity to Dublin, there's huge opportunity to increase footfall through tourism, sustainable transport, and increased recreation, with building networking and trailways, with improved cycle tracks and opening up more options for transport, such as e-bike and e-car sharing. Projects that are directly beneficial to communities could change their everyday methods of travel and ways of living through physical and visual projects that encourage people to lead a more climate conscious lifestyle and give them that opportunity to change towards a more climate conscious lifestyle. When discussing with community group members, there were several challenges that arose when it came to getting funding for projects and finding out the type of projects that get funding. Each issue, in some respects, fed into the other, with the communication aspect being at a community group level, some of them finding it difficult to coordinate project ideas with groups and find out where there could be overlapping projects or overlapping project ideas. Such projects, for example, could be in the sports sector, with upgrading pitch lighting to be more energy efficient or improving facilities such as bicycle racks, water fountains, etc. These projects could be carried out through cross-sector funds such as the Healthy Ireland Initiative. Expertise, cost and accessibility are all challenges more directly related to the County Council, with the need for a lot of expertise, match funding, research into documents, with requirements such as planning permission, quantity surveyors' involvement, architects, etc. And these could act as deterrents for getting movement on climate projects. The financial savings that come with climate projects, support it gives to community, and the improvement it gives to other sectors could further enhance aspects of Kildare in sectors such as sports and tourism through the improvement of climate projects in transport and biodiversity. These projects could show how improving climate projects and implementing climate initiatives could benefit most, if not all, sectors. These challenges are addressed in the report and show the level of support already existing in the Kildare County Council and how the issue actually lies in the accessing of information and simplifying this so that community groups towards who this report is aimed could hopefully benefit and act on, and how these could potentially grow the sector for funding and project initiative in the future. Lastly, I've put together an infographic as a summary piece, or hopefully as a sort of checklist that could summarise the major steps and factors involved in getting funding for projects and events. This could hopefully facilitate community members or groups who may not know where to get started with documents and getting the information together for application of funding. This addresses in some aspects the challenges I touched on prior in this presentation and in the report itself, and could hopefully ease some of the issues addressed in some way and bridge the gap, so to speak, when it comes to gathering all of the information required with documents and funding, etc. In summary, I'd like to note the concluding ideas around community funding and how both Kildare County Council and the community could mutually benefit from project funding. There could be a higher focus on retrofitting and upgrades to existing projects, as huge financial support is given to these types of projects, which could be tapped into for counties like Kildare, and not just focusing on brand new project ideas, but actually looking at improving existing projects. Kildare has a vast amount of existing facilities and infrastructure and has a large community and network which could be upgraded and built upon continuously. As was discussed, there could also be a look into smaller projects and lower levels of funding within bigger grant opportunities, such as the ORIS fund, which is discussed in the report. Lastly, community engagement and encouragement is key, as the community will be the ones who will hopefully be benefiting from any climate projects through infrastructure improvement, amenity improvement, or education and events. Thus, it is vital to look at this resource pool of ideas and knowledge and look at any issues that may be faced when it comes to gathering information and filling in documents for application. The Kildare County Council does provide support for the project ideas, but encouraging public involvement in the actual planning and brainstorming of ideas could hugely benefit Kildare community and further the climate agenda. So just to finish up, I would like to thank Stephen and Paula for their endless support throughout this report, and also to Jennifer and Paul for their extremely helpful contributions to the report. And thank you all very much for listening/watching.